Hey, this is Dave for Dave is Just Dave, where we look at abuse recovery with an eye toward positive attraction in the future. And we look at these topics through many lenses, and today's lens is going to be a pop culture lens. And we're going to talk about the term gaslighting. So gaslighting is certainly a term that we hear a lot today. When I say it's sort of a pop culture term, it's from a long ago piece of pop culture. And I feel like the term itself is a little bit misunderstood. So let's dive in a little bit to the origin of it. First of all, the definition. So gaslighting, as far as the definition, is to manipulate someone by psychological means into questioning their own sanity. So pretty serious matter. This comes from a 1938 play called Angel Street. And I was fortunate enough to be able to see the play performed. And that's probably what kind of inspired my interest in this topic. Of course, I had heard the term used many times, but until you really look at the source material, I feel like it's difficult to truly understand in a way that really makes it come alive. So in the 1938 play Angel Street, and also there's a 1944 movie that stars Ingrid Bergman and Joseph Cotten. The main character, we could say it's about the person who's being abused, but also about the abuser. And in this play, the abuser does things like taking a picture off the wall. We see this happen, whether you see it in the play or you see it in the movie. Highly recommend see the movie. It's actually free on the Roku channel at the time of this recording, but easily found. But if you get a chance to see the play, absolutely see it, because it's really something to be in the room with this abuser. So the abuser does stuff like take a picture off the wall, hide a piece of jewelry, etc. You see this happen in the play or in the movie, and then asks the victim, who he's in a marriage with, what happened to the picture? What happened to the piece of jewelry, etc. And all the while knowing exactly what happened to it, and then revealing where the picture is, where the piece of jewelry is, perhaps, and in different iterations throughout the film or the play, and truly making the victim feel that they are losing their mind through actual and deliberate physical means. So this is an extreme form of gaslighting, and if this rings true to you, or if you feel like this is happening to you, this is extremely serious. And I don't know that it's an exaggeration to say that you're in grave danger if this is going on. But I think more often than not, when we talk about gaslighting as it's more popularly used, and I think, definitions of words are one thing, but how are they popularly used is probably much more important. And I think more often it is used kind of just to describe kind of a more extreme form of lying. So, for example, somebody comes home late, and you may ask them about it at the time. Say 3 days later, you ask them, well, you came home late on Monday night. Well, no, I didn't. This is a pretty common use of the term gaslighting. So it's basically just sort of a form of denying, but it's so convincingly done that it makes you question, okay, I thought they came home late Monday night. Did they not? Now I'm kind of doubting myself. So they get a phone call that's unexpected, and you have the sense that they're talking to a lover or something that's inappropriate. And you say, who was on the phone? And you say, maybe this is hours later, you ask about it. Oh, nobody was on the phone. What are you talking? I never got a call. You're imagining things. This is going to be the most common situation where you've got lying. Now, or gaslighting, which is an extreme form of lying. Now, in terms of what's the difference between just plain old lying and gaslighting, I would say the continued deliberate use and the intent to make you feel crazy. I would suppose that virtually anyone, when caught in a lie or in some type of deception, is going to deny, is going to kind of throw you off the scent. That could be just normal lying. That could be just normal cheating. But the specific sort of crazy-making nature of gaslighting, whether it's in the form of just kind of lying and denial, or whether it's in the form of actual physical manipulation of like turning down the thermostat to 60 degrees and somebody saying, hey, it's cold in here, and saying, what are you talking about? The thermostat's at 68 degrees and it's really 60. These are really disturbing methods of gaslighting. But in terms of the lying, I would really ask yourself, if you're concerned about whether you're being gaslit, really look at, is it plain old lying, or is it a continued deception? So as far as maybe 3 ways to look at whether or not it's actual gaslighting, I would say ask yourself these questions. Have you been questioned so much about your beliefs that you are now thinking of collecting evidence to prove that individual things have happened? Whether that's kind of taking pictures of things with your phone, or writing things down, or sending texts to yourself to remind you what happened. If you are either doing these things or thinking of doing these things, there's a very good chance that you're experiencing gaslighting. When you catch on, a second one, when you catch on to maybe what's going on with your partner, are you being accused of being paranoid? I think this is probably one of the most common tactics. So you kind of, not only are you lying and deceiving with the gaslighting and maybe actual physical manipulation of some type of object or whatever, but not only that, but making a person feel stupid for even asking. If this is happening to you, but yet you're sure or relatively sure that these things are happening, then you're probably definitely experiencing gaslighting. And I think probably one of the most telling, I'll give you a third thing, is a sort of, I would describe it as, I don't mean to laugh because it's quite serious, the maniacal laughing at when you, I would call it kind of guess wrong. So when somebody's cheating on you, or someone's lying or deceiving you, it's only natural that you're going to be thinking about, well, what's actually going on here? And this is going to consume so much of your thoughts in a given day. And you may come up with various theories. And like a lot of people who come up with theories about what's happening, whether that's the police or whether that's somebody who's being cheated on, you'll probably guess wrong. I mean, you'll almost certainly guess wrong about some things. You may say, well, when you came home late last night, I really think you were with Linda. And the person will respond and be, Linda? I mean, you're absolutely crazy. I'm not with Linda. And they actually weren't with Linda, right? They were with Lisa or whatever. But they're going to make you feel like a fool because you guessed that they were with Linda and they were actually with Lisa. And they're also secretly pleased, right? Because they're like, they don't know where I am. They think I'm with Lisa or Linda. I'm not interested in Linda at all. They're so far off. I'm winning. I am actually successfully deceiving them. So really think of those things. Do you want to collect evidence? Are you offering up evidence to your partner without asking? Are you showing them receipts to kind of prove where you've been? Are you being accused of being paranoid? And worst of all, and kind of most indicative of gaslighting, I would say, are you being laughed at when these things are happening? And again, I want to say, if you're being lied to and deceived and there's cheating, I mean, a lot of folks deal with that. I don't want to trivialize that. But when you've got somebody who's actually moving objects around the house or turning up the thermostat and saying it's turned down or any kind of action like that, you're in serious, serious danger. I would recommend speaking to a therapist and trying to get out of that situation as soon as possible. And we'll talk more about escaping from an abusive situation in a future video. But just like always, if you are being gaslit, if you realize that you have been gaslit and you allowed that to happen, go ahead and forgive yourself. You didn't know that this was even a possibility that somebody would be so terrible. Do take responsibility in that you did hear that voice saying, something's wrong here, and you didn't listen because you were being gaslit, but you still knew. So take a little bit of responsibility there, that maybe you could have gotten out of the situation sooner, or if you're in it, that you can get out. You're going to resolve to learn from it. When you hear these warning signs, when somebody laughs at you about being paranoid, look, if you're paranoid that somebody's cheating and somebody laughs, like, let me just solve the mystery for you. They don't care about you at all. I'm sorry, but if you truly care about somebody, you would not laugh if they are worried that you're cheating on them. You would make some reasonable effort to try and reassure them or tell the truth if you are cheating. So forgive yourself, take responsibility, resolve to learn. Always, of course, take care of yourself, eat, exercise, socialize. And as you ruminate and as you think about it, this is really important with the gaslighting issue. Do not share what you're thinking about or your revelations with your abuser. In the case of gaslighting, that is just going to make them better at abusing you. So you say, hey, I think you were with Linda. They're like, oh, they think I'm with Linda. I know I'm winning. Or I found this receipt. I know where you were. Don't let them know what you do and don't know. This is part of how you're going to, quote, catch them in a lie if that's necessary. However, let me say to you what would probably be obvious to most, but not obvious to somebody who's being abused. If you're even thinking about this, it's time to get out. Like it's already over. You're looking at receipts, you're playing detective, you're wondering where somebody is, you're developing theories about where they are. Even in the absolute worst case scenario that you are just being paranoid, you're not in a healthy situation if that were the case to be in a relationship. But almost undoubtedly, there's over a 90% chance you aren't being paranoid. These things are happening. They're absolutely happening. And you are rightfully concerned. And it's time to get out of the relationship. So if this is happening to you, feel free to ask yourself those questions. Try and figure out, is somebody laughing at you? I think that's the most key one. That's the easiest one. And really, if you get a chance, see that play. That's outstanding to do. But if you can't, try and look at the 1944 movie. It really is very good. Ingrid Bergman is wonderful as the victim, and Joseph Cotten is wonderful as the abuser. And it's really kind of almost like a feminist story, like an early feminist story written in 1938. So a wonderful piece of literature just from a historical context. So I know when we talk about these issues, there's always going to be differing opinions. We'd love to hear about that in the comments section. If you find this helpful, if you think somebody would benefit from it, would really appreciate it if you would share it with that person and possibly think about giving it a like or subscribe. That truly helps me. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos on these topics of abuse and recovery and positive attraction. Thanks for watching.